All right, let's go live. Live Izzo Wing Chun channel here on YouTube, Facebook. Good to see you guys. Dominick Izzo out here, Izzo Wing Chun. I thought, you know what? We have to revisit an episode. If you're watching this on the replay, we're Saturdays are live at 6 Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific, so you can join us. There's a number you want to call in and talk all things martial arts, Kung Fu, wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't give a we'll call in, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We talk all things martial arts here. It's as simple as that. And specifically, I think that Wing Chun is the most superior martial art on the planet, so that's what we talk about the most. I've been doing Wing Chun since 1996. Former competitive folk-style wrestler, wrestling coach, all this kind of stuff, and Sifu for Wing Chun is what it is. Years ago, 13 years, man. It's been 13 years, and I've never reviewed this, never really talked about it, other than trying to like defend myself in the comment section from trolls and shit on forums. But the Wing Chun Blast episode, tons of you have to remember that. Danny Horgan, not Danny Halligan, who honestly I talked to really briefly via text message yesterday, my first Sifu. Danny Horgan reached out. It was 13 years ago because I was training at Goality Fitness. I didn't have my gym yet, so we were training in Wooddale, Illinois, suburb of Chicago. And Danny reaches out. He wanted to do this series on Wing Chun because he had just started training. And I don't believe he was really under anyone. He was just picking up what we were looking at online, right? Because back then, a lot of us were just starting to put Wing Chun content up online. And Danny's like, hey, I want to do a production of where I travel and I do some training with Sifus, and you're the first one I want to do. And I went, absolutely, man. Let's take a look at this and let's do this. So we did a first episode of Wing Chun Blast, which, dear Lord, caught criticism like you wouldn't believe, or maybe if you were on Wing Chun forums, you would believe. So it's been 13 years. 13 years and about 50 pounds heavier. We got to look at this, but let's talk about the Danny Horgan Wing Chun Blast episode. This is on their channel, WCB Archives Wing Chun Blast. And let's do a breakdown. If you like what we're doing here, go ahead and comment, or in the comment section below, there's a link, not comment section below. In the description of this video, there's a link. You could buy me a coffee if you like the work that we're doing here. You can obviously comment, and then, guys, you want to talk about martial arts, whatever, we'll open the phones a little bit if anybody calls. So let's see. All right, let's watch this together and watch Wing Chun Blast. This was the first episode ever.
Wing Chun Kung Fu, a lethal style of Chinese fighting that dates back to the 17th century. Now, I'm traveling around the world to spar, train with, and learn from some of today's top Wing Chun practitioners.
I was so young.
This
oh
is
my
Wing
gosh.
Chun Unfiltered. This Wing Chun
look at me, dude. That's what I was looking for. I've done this. I've talked about this several times. The one thing I hate about the Gansao, for those who are paying attention, watch what happens when Danny low kicks here. You could see that, like, it's. This is why I can't stand, if you're a Wing Chun guy, you don't Gansao for a low kick. Watch. Okay. He reaches and then kicks, and then look what happens. I get distracted as he kind of folds me in half here. And then that is a perfect chin shot to knock someone out. This is one of the reasons I can't stand chasing a Gansao low. And when I first saw this, I'm like, dude, you can't ever chase your hands. But it's a natural reaction to chase. If you really look too, my hand is cupped in. So it's like I'm kind of trying to scoop up his kick because this was a light sparring shit. And this is perfect position for him to come right. He's got the feeler. That left hand can come, put right in the button, dude, and that's good night. This is one of the biggest reasons why I keep telling you guys, if you're going to do a Gansao, it's not meant to block low kicks. Simple as that. This is a primary example of why not to do that.
Without limits. This is Wing Chun Blast.
So Danny came out. This was the first episode he ever did, Wing Chun Blast. We had no correspondence really before this other than, hi, how are you? I think we spoke on the phone a couple of times. Nothing was planned. When he showed up, he said we're going to, he's got a guy who has a camera and you had it on a stick. It wasn't a tripod, it was a stick so the guy could move around. Had a 50 millimeter lens and he just recorded. That's all he did. And we wanted to do like 2 minutes of chi sao, unrehearsed, and then go over training philosophies. So none of this, this is behind the scenes of Wing Chun Blast. None of this was scripted, planned, or even like Danny showed up and he goes, this is what we're doing. I'm like, that's cool with me, dude. So we never, ever, ever touched hands at all before this.
I'm here at Izzo Tactical Combat in Wooddale, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. I'm about ready to go inside and do some chi sao, some sparring, some conditioning training. I'm really stoked about it, so come on inside, let's do this. Meet Dominick Izzo. When it comes to Wing Chun fighters, this guy's at the top of the heap. He's the chief instructor at Izzo Tactical Combat.
Yeah.
He has 14 years of Wing Chun experience.
Well, let's see, at this point, it was more than that, because if I started at the seated bench press, 450 pounds, I told Danny, hang on, I don't hear that.
His seated bench press is 450 pounds.
Like, what is that? That's because I could do on hammer strength machines, the wide grip, I could stack 5 plates on each side and bang out 3 reps. And this is way before I was on test. So I was strong mother effer back then. 14 years experience. I think I had more than that at this point, but legitimately under one Sifu. I was under for 14 years under Sifu's training. And then I had boxed in the Super Cop boxing tournaments in 03 and 04. They were smokers, three 1-minute rounds. I'm 1 and 2 in that, where I won the first one. Guy threw in the towel. No, excuse me. I lost the first one to a guy from, where was it? Oh, Lake in the Hills Police Department. And then I won all 3 rounds. He got the decision. Then the next, and then I was knocked out after that because he didn't win. And then the next year I won the first one. They threw in the towel from the cop from, he's ultimately from Niles. And then I lost to, got my ass kicked by Craig Harris. Never forget this guy. Golden Glove boxer from Chicago Housing Authority, which is no longer an agency. And that guy, dude, he would punch I would punch, and by the time the tail end of my punch would land, he would be like, how did you get on my left-hand side? And boom, I would take a hit, right? That guy, it was technical knockout, they stopped the fight. By second round, I was like, where am I? He was unbelievable. That was a awesome experience, getting your bell rung by that.
And he's a former amateur boxer. I can't wait to experience Dominick's skill firsthand and see everything he knows about Wing Chun. First up is a round of chi sao, a close-range drill designed to work reflexes, sensitivity, and structure.
All right, so we had never touched hands before at this point, and this is the most heavily criticized. This was like right here. This was after class. We had literally just met 5 minutes prior to this, and we link up. Now, here's the deal. I will defend myself for this. It's gonna, if you're a chi sao like aficionado, this looks weird because Danny has zero formal Wing Chun training. That includes chi sao. So how do you chi sao with somebody who doesn't know how to chi sao? Like this. And it was the closest to real chaotic energy from somebody that you can get. And as far as I'm concerned, I handled him fucking great. This was exhausting, man. I remember being tired of this. was tiring. I want to go back and look at it again, and I want to look at some stuff and critique some issues I had with Danny. Number one was his distance. I'm 5'7". I think he's like 6'2". And really, I remember in the beginning, you felt right here in the first roll, and there's only a few of us who have ever, it's myself, Sifu Fo, Jin Young, and a couple others who have done these episodes. I think there's only 4 or 5 episodes out there. But when you cheese out Danny, right, it was here, right with that bong sao, I went, oh, God. It's no disrespect to Danny, but this kid doesn't know what he's doing as far as Wing Chun goes, because his bong sao so far crossed over into the center line. I'm like, all right. And my first thought was, oh, I got him. This is easy because he doesn't know chi sao. And with his fuk sao hand, it was a lot of pressure on down, which you're giving me a tell, right? If you know chi sao, you know that's like, okay, you're pushing down. I can feel the where your intent is going on this. So I was like, this is gonna be interesting. And again, you can see here. This is more fuk sao, or look at his fuk sao. His fuk sao is going all the way over to my left shoulder. So from the first 1-2 roll, I was like, this is weird. This is called palm on. This was like specifically I got from Sifu Nearing, which we don't do. I won't do the fuk sao on that hand. And you can even see his tan sao. If you're really, really, really critical in Wing Chun, and everybody was critical of me just getting touched all the time, it's like he had no structure. His fuk sao went to my right shoulder, should have gone to my center, and his tan sao was completely gone. It was chaotic energy from the beginning. And you can watch that again real subtly. Watch the shaking movement in Danny when he's chi saoing. You look at the roll. He doesn't have a roll. His roll was really weird. And the first thing he does is he deviates off center and clocks me right in the face. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be challenging. So I went immediately from, oh, I got this guy, to, damn, this might be a little bit weird after all. Boom, he comes up right with the right hand right here. Boom, right there. And then the only thing, and this was with the first second I realized it, the only chance I had against him was staying in and smothering. This was a reality check. It's like, if you chi sao versus chi sao, great. But this is where Wing Chun gets so wrong with so many people who try to evaluate it. Their skill set is, what do? We match chi sao for chi sao against Wing Chun guy for Wing Chun guy. But how do you know your skill works unless you face somebody who doesn't have any skills, or they're a boxer, or they're JKD, or they're friggin', well, JKD still, yeah, do fucking chi sao, or they're, I don't know, somebody just picks up a brick, and we're so hell bent on staying in the safety of Wing Chun versus Wing Chun that we never know what it's like to touch hands. I'm one of the few guys out there that has have proven. I've got, 13 years worth of YouTube videos. It shows I've had other people in my school from different types of energy. But this was the only thing I could do in this, was keeping Danny in. So you're going to see, I may get hit, and this has always been my philosophy. Take the hit as long as you're going in, because it's not you soften the energy, but there's 3 stages to every attack, right? And if you look at a punch, you've got infancy, adolescent, and adult. And I don't want to get hit on the tail end of a punch. So I'd rather get hit by a teenager or a baby. So that's why always going in, I'm going to take a hit, but I'm still going to come in. Danny being 6'2", I don't want to be at the tail end of his stuff. So when he wound up striking, I'm going in. You can see he has no facing game. So again, in the beginning, I didn't know how to deal with him. So I just dealt him by going, crowd him. That's it. All I can do is crowd him. I'm trying to find crowding. I'm not going to let him gain any space. And yeah, you're taking hits. That's what everybody does. Trying to crowd him. I had nothing. There was nothing else I could do other than crowd him. And it was just, damn, it's like, okay, he's not chi saoing, but what are you doing? It's like, okay, he's got to reach to constantly, that's a jab, right? The palm on my face, that substitutes for a jab. And it's a hit. It's a clean hit. But the only thing I had was, well, shit, get into that grappling range and touch, boom, touch. It was exhausting at this point, too, because he's a bigger guy, longer, younger. This is what it is. Yeah, everything. You had to stay in. And there's two. This was a great lesson for me too. Why I changed my views, and it was actually after this, I stopped doing Lopsal because it's a load of shit. So again, for anybody who does Lopsal, you know, it's that pulling hand, right? And we do it all the time in Chisao. You do the bong, lop, chop, and you pull. Here, if you watch here in this, I've got Danny's arm. Let me see if I can go. Yeah. Here's his arm, right? Here's his arm. Well, you got to lop, right? So I'm supposed to lop to the other side. I'm supposed to put that in my pocket, elbow energy down, lop and chop. Well, if you get to the point where you've been exerting yourself in a struggle, if you will, this isn't a fight, this is a struggle, you don't have that energy reserve to do that really quick jutsao, just sinking elbow energy, jerking, rip their arm out of their socket like we talk about. Can't do it. And I'm like, it's not practical. I felt in this motion, you can't lopsal. But you can gumsal, pull and push and press into somebody. And it was not effective. The lopsal, when you're tired, or for me in this example, even though I'm strong, this was not practical for me. I'm like, damn, you can't lop. If you watch, I go to lop and watch him just pull his arm back. It becomes a pissing match at that point. I go to lop and he pulls. It's like, okay. And my hand is focused on a paksao on the inside instead. This was just, and again too, you've heard me say a couple days ago that one of the things that we do in fighting for guys is we grab wrists. Look, I'm getting tired at this point. And what am I doing? I'm tired. I've got the wrist. I've got a palm on, but that's a grab. It's like, I don't want that fist to get out, right? We're chisawing. I'm tired. It's been 90 seconds, and anybody's ever been in any type of, I don't care if you wrestle, grapple, if you're in, even if you're in decent shape, 90 seconds is a long time, especially for somebody that you've never trained with before. And it was getting really tired. So I don't have the sensory anymore. I'm gassed. I'm grasping for air. So I want to make sure he can't get his shots out. I'm breathing heavy at that point. And you get the Wing Chun opening. You'll see I get the shot off, but my distance doesn't do anything, so it's right. I see there's the shot, but again, we're trading blows. I get my hit, but he's already making the hit at that time. So it's like my game, the only thing that I had success with in this was crowding him. Sensitivity, it's hard to do against somebody who's got chaotic energy. I clearly felt the openings, but at the same time, man, how do you deal with this? This is why I keep saying that Wing Chun, everybody thinks it's a striking art. No, it's really not. It's got striking components in there, but it's got this because the snake, right? You got a snake and a crane. The snake strikes with the head, but the snake also coils and constricts. That's grappling, right? The snake bites, holds on, and then and squeezes the shit out of their dinner. So it's ridiculous, man. It's a lot of stuff over there. Over the chat, Sifu was never here. What's going on? Darth Wool X2, how are you, man? Callie Kenneth, sorry, not Callie Kenneth. Callie Kenneth, how are you? And Marshall Patterns, how are you, dude? Yeah, this was tighter. I got all this open, but at the same time, he's just tapping on my head. So you have to change it. It's like this to me was that, okay, the way that I was taught, Wing Chun, well, Wing Chun is designed for a shorter person to overcome a large person. No, that's a load of shit. And this was 2013. So I was still in my transition years of going, what is Wing? I mean, I absorbed it all. Danny Halligan, Phil Nearing, Syed Ahmad. I've got 3 great friggin' teachers who all have 3 different experiences, 3 different, where's mine? I'm still in these stages in 2013 of where's your Wing Chun live? And it was with the pressure testing, like with Danny Halligan, that I'm going, okay, you need to really, why can't you use strength? Why are you using always sensitivity? If you don't use strength to rock somebody back, man, you're going to get your ass kicked. And Danny commented, I've still got the text messages, years later. He's like, I was the strongest guy you ever chisawed with. Well, I didn't use it as much as I should have. I should have elbow energy, just knocked him back, but I just didn't. See, no matter how tired I got,
from the moment
no matter how tired I got to, it was nothing more. And I'll back up a little bit again, so you can evaluate, and we'll watch it again with no volume. It's just all I could do at this point was go forward, forward, forward. That's it. There was no other thing I could do other than you touch hands and you're like, damn, man, this guy's got weird chi sao. He doesn't have traditional chi sao. So I'm like, that first hit, I went, all right, I'm screwed, because I don't want to get embarrassed. And at the same time, too, what? You go forward. That is the defining principle of what I had in chi sao for this. And every time I took a hit, I made sure that I'm giving one at the same time, because I knew I'm going to get hit. But boom, I have to take the mustard, so to speak, out of his hit by giving him a strike in. So this was it was a good baptism under fire, because up until this time, most of the people I was dealing with was other Wing Chun people, and you just chi sao, chi sao, chi sao. Okay, and then I had wrestling. So that wrestling, chi sao translates into wrestling so damn easy, and all of a sudden I became a better wrestler because of chi sao. But then what happens when you get a guy who's got a longer reach, and it's like, yeah, you better take a hit, man. Take a hit to get in, because this is where your Wing Chun really has to come to play, because all that striking bullshit, if you stay back, it's not going to work, dude. It's just not going to work. So this was pressure testing where, like I said, my only saving grace for Wing Chun is, you see, I will not let up on him. I'm just coming in the entire time.
From the moment we touch hands, I can feel Dominick's strength. His forward energy is unlike anything I've experienced in my time practicing Wing Chun. I know that if I want to land my shots, I'll need to use speed and trickery. Dominick and I trade shots throughout the round. I establish my distance and use my long arms to land quick strikes while he closes in and answers back. The clash of Wing Chun styles makes for an action-packed 90 seconds of training.
It was tiring, man. That was 90 seconds. Felt like 20 minutes. Yeah, it's like so there you go. And this is where, like, this is a great example, right? Here's the Bong Sao shape, because how do you make Bong Sao work in a contextual fighting? And I did a video on this the other day. Just go look at the channel. That Bong Sao is the most dangerous move out there for you, because so many of you out there think that you're going to just take a straight incoming jab energy Bong Sao out. No, you have to. Bong Sao is an immediate shape response to going ahead and closing the distance, right? I throw this up because this is the pressure on the wrist brings up the elbow. You see that? He's got my wrist right there. I've said that a million times throughout the last several years. Pressure on the wrist brings up the elbow. Pressure on the elbow brings up the wrist. So he grabs that wrist and it pops into Bong Sao shape to soften the blow of a strike coming in and getting around it as well too. It's like he grabs it, boom. Well, that's just the best I could do. You have to make do of what your Wing Chun tells you.
Next, Dominick will show me one of the exercises that makes his school one of the top Wing Chun destinations in the country, the 5-step drill.
Well, I can't take credit for this. This is from Sifu Syed Ahmad, and this is, in my opinion, the greatest Wing Chun drill that you're not doing, the 5-step drill. It is so essential. If you're not doing it, I'm sorry. When I started training this under Sifu Syed, I went, dude, this changes everything, because it complements the wooden dummy. You're out of position. And if you're out of position, how do you get back in the position? Well, the wooden dummy, there's limitations, because guess what? The dummy's not there feeding you energy. So now all of a sudden we have to look at the dynamics of other humans feeding you energy.
Bicep drill goes into what happens when you went out of position. So you punch one. I get 5 hits from here. 1, now I gotta start spreading my shots out, which I'll explain too. All of my students understand that we don't do that. Most Wing Chun schools do
God,
that.
I'm so young, man.
Those 2 teachers, you throw a punch, please.
I'm so damn young. Look, I was 175 pounds there too.
1, chain punch. Okay? When I was a cop, we used to shoot in that little 8x11 area in the range. The reason was for accuracy. You know, if from 7 yards, 15 yards, 25 yards, if you can shoot in this area, you can address a bigger area. Yeah, the main reason for firing bullets is for blood loss. Okay, you want a massive volume of blood loss in order to slow the bad guy down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are shot to terminate life-threatening behavior.
Wow,
not
I
to
said it
wound,
back then too.
not to graze him in the leg. You know, if someone needs to be shot, it's for a purpose. So is our punches. Okay, if I can hit this area with ammunition, then I can spread my shots out, more blood loss. Why would I want this? Oh, the straight blast is a battering ram. Why would I want that when 1 hit, 2 hit, 3, 4? I want to deliver my punches, spread them out. That's what we want. Because for all I know, you know what? You may be a robot with a steel plate in your head that can handle 10 shots to the head. I don't want that. I want, plus, do you think my power is going to be, I'm going to have power up here? I have to understand, boom, I got power here coming in.
Right.
I'm shorter than you. I got to be able to deliver those powers. So, my first punch is here. 1. I get 5 more.
Yeah, pay attention. This is 5-step drill, and go ahead and steal it for your school. It's a fantastic damn drill because it gets you thinking, and then it does. It's like, damn, okay, if you go back and you apply this into a chi sao purpose, it's like, how many of you could chi sao if you're in bad position? Well, no, because nobody does it that way. Everybody stands in their neutral, sinking Yiji Kim Young Ma stance and rolls their hands. And that's why Wing Chun has such a bad reputation, is because we look for somebody to come like that Bruce Lee reference point. You're looking to, okay, here's an agreed upon position, back of my wrist to back of your wrist. No, man, fights don't start that way. Fights are chaotic. You're not going to get the equal roll from somebody who's been training just as long as you have in your Wing Chun school. You're going to get somebody like Danny Horgan who comes in and is like, dude, I've never rolled before. Hey, I'm going to confuse you. Where's your Wing Chun live now? Huh? Mother effer? So pay attention. This is a great drill.
Shots. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here's 5. 5. I'm going to feed this again. I'm keeping this. You are in this position right here. You have to now.
The one thing we do is we kind of exaggerate. So if you take that 5th shot, you're supposed to, like movie stuntman, react to it. So if you punch me in the gut, I'm supposed to go boom. So I'm supposed to lose my structure, because theoretically that's what would happen if you got hit right in the gut. You wouldn't be standing head over hips over feet. You would be, ooh, I just got buckled because I got a liver shot. How do I recover from there?
Figure out what is the best method to address this punch and deliver an attack. And then you get 5 punches.
Okay.
So I'm punching. I'm going to feed this 5 until you feel like you know what to address on this. 5. And when you're comfortable, you address it how you want to. Okay, 1, 2.
Yeah, you see how I'm kind of reacting when he hits me, because that's the point. You're supposed to mimic being hit.
4, 5. I deliver 5 again.
Now here's where I'm at, right? I'm in a bad position. If you could see in the aperture of the video camera, this is a great 50 millimeter lens. You could see that I don't have any Wing Chun posture. There's no mun sao wu sao. There's no asking hand, answering hand. There's no head over hips over feet. I just got rocked, and the bad guy put me in a different position. So now I'm going to have Danny feed me that same punch until I can think of a solution to A, attack and defend at the same time, face at the same time, and recover.
Now, this is a fight. This is bad position. How do I get out of this position? 5 again. Okay, 5 again. One more time. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 5 again. 5. Well, where's your Wing Chun now? 5 again. Where's your tools now? 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I will tell you personally, this drill actually did more for my Wing Chun than Chi Sao does. It's a greater awareness of how do you develop, Wing Chun power when you're in this position and you don't have the fist and a half length away from your body, elbow, right? You don't have that inch power at the tail end of your wrist. You don't have all the things that we love to talk about in Wing Chun that makes us so we're the most dangerous martial art out there. Yeah, when you're in a good set position that is meant to impress new students coming in as they watch class going on. What happens when your bell gets rung? Recovery is one of the most important aspects of Wing Chun because you're going to get hit. And that's one of the biggest things that I can't stand in the Wing Chun community is, and I took a lot of heat for this years ago. It was like, well, you got hit by Danny. It's like, did you think that was not going to happen? Literally watch the video of Sifu Fo, who actually had the flu. He had the bad flu that day. He was not feeling well. I don't think that Jin Young put up Chi Sao with Danny. But, I talked to Danny afterwards, and he had said that he was able to get hits on everybody because that's how fights are. I've said it for years. If you have an amateur boxer and a professional boxer in the ring sparring, professional boxer's still going to get some shots landed on him. It's how they converse. It's the nature of their conversation. So when anybody talks about, well, you got hit when you're chi saoing, the only way, I'm going to tell you flat out, the only way that I could have made myself look like a stud with Danny, and it's the biggest cheating game in Wing Chun, is to back up. If you back up when you chi sao, you can't get hit. Can't get hit. And that's how Sifus always stay untouchable. You back up, change an angle. So the energy comes in, you can't touch them. You will be hell-bent, pressed to find chi sao where the Sifu, who is getting pressed by a senior student that actually knows what they're doing, isn't staying put and, just closing the distance. Is what it is. When you stay in close, you're risking getting hit. You're risking getting hit. You're improving. God, I'm so young there. I think I'm 36. I'm 36, 37 here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. So 5 again. Good. What am I going to do? 5 again. One more. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 5. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we continue and we continue.
Yeah. What kind of answer do you have? What kind of answer do you have for somebody who flanks you?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, somebody's going to hit you in the back of the head. Where's your Wing Chun? You're not facing them. So it teaches you, damn. If you ever look at the third form, I read years ago, third form has got the 3 bows to Buddha in it. You go down, you come back up. That's a massive recovery technique where you get rocked. You clearly can't see. You don't know what's going on. It's almost like you're clearing the area because you don't know where the attack is coming in. Clear everything and then go straight in. So how do you recover? How do you face? How do you handle these things? This drill, in my opinion, is something that is so crucial for your school to incorporate. Please take it, steal it, make it yours. Piss all over that tree. I don't care what it is, but it's necessary.
5, and we continue and we continue. The point is, now I'm in a bad position. You got a punch coming in the back of my head. But wait a minute. Sifu said this all the time. Facing. How do you face when you got to this position?
How do you recover?
How do you recover? How do you do all this stuff? So it doesn't matter what tool you use, wooden dummy, forms, drills, everything is to do the one thing, which is face, go forward, and deliver those punches. Those 3 things I think are the most important things on the planet.
Condition. Oh yeah, I used to be conditioned here.
So one thing they really emphasize here at Izzo Tactical Combat is fitness. It's something that not a lot of Wing Chun schools talk about, but it has a huge impact on the way you fight. Dominick's going to show me some of the fitness drills they do here. I'm going to go through them. I'll probably turn red as a tomato, but it should be fun. Huh?
You don't turn red. If you notice, I'm not doing it, but we did a lot of like cardio training. Ooh, that's what I could do pull-ups without a problem. Damn, my body hurts so bad lately. I used to be in shape. It was great. I'm not going to play the music because I'm going to get dinged over on YouTube. see. Over in the chat. Martial patterns. Lapsao is Lapda is BS. What makes you say that, sir? You said it was after you stopped doing Lapsao. Yeah, because of it was not functional when you're tired to do it. It just doesn't make sense, and I was not able to do it as well as I wanted to because I was fatigued. Didn't have if you've ever been in a fight or anything, your nervous system is all wrecked, and it wasn't practical. Kali Kenneth says, yeah, because of your smothering tactic, Danny is trying to keep distance, and you have control by tapping your head. But these aren't power hits. It looks strange, but it makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, but here's the deal. What if they were? Because if you ever watched Tyson and Lewis, Lennox Lewis beat Mike Tyson with a jab. I remember watching it. It was like, damn, he just kept jabbing and jabbing and jabbing and jabbing, and he wears him down. So we're not going to go 15 rounds or 12 rounds, whatever they go, but those still are effective. Even if you're looking at a fight, yeah, I could smother Danny, but what if he goes in thumb in my eye, right? What if he does land a good, busts my nose open, cracks a tooth? It's still, the only chance I had was to go in and smother. It was the only effective thing I really had to do.
To wrap things up, I'll get Dominick's take on a hypothetical fight between two of Wing Chun's most famous practitioners.
I haven't seen this in years. Let's listen to what I had to say about Ip Man and Bruce Lee. Oh, cripes.
Ip Man and Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee was an anomaly. His physical attributes make him one of a kind. But I think that somewhere along the world there are other people who could do two-finger push-ups. There are other people who had the physical attributes that he does. Wing Chun speaking, Bruce Lee's Wing Chun was inferior to so many other people's out there. He really was. His fighting ability was fantastic based on what his ability was to do. That said, there's no question Ip Man wins this fight because Ip Man sat there and taught Bruce Lee Wing Chun. And he's going to understand how to teach. If you have every student, you have to teach differently because of maybe one student's slow, another student is strong, one student is fast. You have to teach them differently. He's already going to know how to handle him, pure and simple. My personal view is that Wing Chun or Bruce Lee would fall to Ip Man because Ip Man he knew how to teach him, knew what his strengths and weaknesses were. Even if he didn't, going back to that, Wing Chun is designed for economy of motion, learning how to deal with stronger, faster, bigger people. Even if they didn't train together, it's still going to be Ip Man because Bruce Lee, in the end, he did rely on strength and speed, and that's not what Wing Chun's about. It's about all the the economy of motion, angles of attack, all the stuff that Bruce Lee didn't finish his training for. A couple of years in Wing Chun and he walks out and he does something else. Great.
Three years he did that.
Put in the other things. But, they said even on his best day going back that Bruce Lee still could not beat Ip Man or Wang Shenggang in contact. So to me right there, that says something.
Yeah, that said something a lot on there. Over in the chat, Gary Lamb is a respected Sifu. Very much. Very much he is. Oh, but not for nothing either. And I know he's not going to really want to. If you guys do follow the Indianapolis Wing Chun guys, Naptown Wing Chun guys, go ahead and wish Sean McGuire the best, would you? His mom passed, and I went out to see him yesterday really quickly, but send him some love. Because if you guys love him, man, send him some love. Chum Q Pivot, Combat Noob. Yeah, yes and no. The Chum Q pivot, if you will, is not something that's it's a subtle movement, considering the fact that you're not going to do it like you would in training. So it's like a pivot. If a pivot, you pivot on a 45-degree angle, that's a pivot. If you pivot on a 2-degree angle, it's still a pivot. So it's all relative on what you want to do. Combat Noob, Bill G is crazy. Yeah, it is. It is. Andre. PX8RV, how do you break posture with a 50-50 stance? you're going to have to ask your questions a little bit differently. You can call in 708-982-0974. You know, I got the phones open for you guys. We could talk all things martial arts if you want, because that's how that winds up working up. Again, we're going to be doing this on Saturdays, 6 p.m. Central. What is that? That's Eastern, 7 p.m., 5 Mountain, and 4, what do you call it? 4 Pacific. Martial patterns. Sir, when it comes to forward pressure and moving, smothering, crashing, I agree, especially when they're bigger. What is your thoughts on Chigurk, breaking pressure when striking? I think all of that is relative. I can't speak to it because I don't know what somebody else's ability is. Internal energy, Chigurk, Gunglik, all of that. Can you make it work? And then are you making it work on somebody who's got that a chaotic energy that they're bringing towards you on an aggressive, non-contact way? It's like it's a fight, dude. Can you actually dig down deep in a fight and, I don't know, just make all that internal energy work? I don't think so. I don't know. Let's see what the chats are in. Yeah, that was my Wing Chun Blast experience. Was there anything else? Let's look at a different one. Just because we're celebrating let's look at I like him. He's a class act, and I consider him one of the few people that I actually respect in Wing Chun, Sifu Fo, because he's a genuine guy. Where's the experience? Chi Sao. I want to watch this with each other. Now, keep in mind, the man had the flu on this day, and he still decided to Chi Sao with an unknown. Danny shows up. They never met before. That. Just watch. And this is somebody who's got almost like a scientific approach on Wing Chun that really understands energy and he's the opposite of me. He doesn't use muscle. He actually uses the structure, spirals, and his content is fantastic. How does he fare with Danny?
No and I will touch hands in a round of free flow Chi Sao, a close range drill designed to work reflexes, sensitivity, and structure.
No music. We're going to play that. Okay. And the only thing, and this is just me, I've said this for years, and I'm not disrespecting him. The only thing I don't like, and I will never do again, is we are so guilty of this in Wing Chun. This is how we shut off our vision. We look away from the opponent. And if you're Chi Saoing and you find yourself doing this, don't do this. Simply because even when you're facing somebody, I don't care if you're blindfolded, you could still, your intent will go where the direction of your head is facing. At least that's where it's my body, my internal, it makes the most sense. So I don't do this. I was very guilty of doing this. Especially under Phil's class, we would look off into the middle distance and roll, and you'd get hit. Interesting. And just dude, shut up. You want to focus, but you definitely lose almost like your missile guidance system if you're not facing your target. And you can see it's like he's not that much short. Look at the one thing that Fo has is he's got that instant explosive power when he feels an opening. Look at that. I mean, that's boom. And that got Danny. This became you got me, I got you. So Danny really doesn't have an answer for this. Watch Fo just drill him. Oh, sorry. Sifu Fu. I'm sorry. But he just drills him, man. Look at that. Steps offline, gets the attack. This guy's got the flu, and he's still boom. And then the problem that most of us who do Wing Chun, when we expect this is, we expect almost like the normal Wing Chun dialogue, which means you got the hit. Okay, let's reset. Danny, it's almost like etiquette. And that's the only excuse I will give for Sifu Fu's performance is he's used to Wing Chun etiquette, and just Danny didn't have it at the time. So it's like when you see him get hit a couple times, it's because he stopped. He has stopped. The exchange is done, and he stopped, and they're resetting, but Danny doesn't reset. You see, he reaches to reset, and it's just not. It's like, okay, well, no. That's why he only puts two hands out to reset. Nobody puts two hands out in Wing Chun, especially not somebody who's as skilled as this man. So when you see him doing that, he's trying to reset. Danny's not resetting, and Danny's hitting. It's almost like you go touch gloves on somebody and they throw you a cheap shot. Danny doesn't know this, so it's not against him. It's just how it goes. He's got, everything. He's difficult to handle because he's just got weird energy. But as far as I'm concerned, you look at Sifu's structure is great. He's really not affected. And the only difference between me and him is he's getting distance and resetting. I was going in and smothering and getting hit. So these are him and I both have two different styles. You could definitely see. And again, more props, man. The guy is sicker than shit right here. Tired, exhausted, and he still shows. Again, he's still gonna get tapped because it's an exchange of fighting skill. Again, pops Danny. Boom. This is good stuff. I do think, it's just my personal opinion, that again, and maybe he was being courteous by not trying to, breathe on him and get him sick. But if he had actually looked, he doesn't even have to think, and he winds up getting stuff out there. It was a great exchange. I think that my biggest takeaway is even with the flu, that Sifu Fu's skill set just comes right through, and it's like, damn, man, that's awesome. Martial patterns over the chest is more specifically Chi Gurk and Kazushi style posturing break when striking. I find that I don't do that. They either step, move back. How would you break posture when striking, sir? I don't have an answer for you, my guy. You got so technical. I chew the steak and swallow it. If you want to chew it and say, man, this cow has been dining on the long grain blades of grass in an east meadow, pasteurized over the sun. The sun was hitting New England perfectly. That's awesome. You can go and you can get to the minutia that much. That's not my game. No, not my game. Never has been. Chisao musician. He. Okay. Well, you got it, man. Chisao. I don't know. Yeah, I wanted to revisit this. Definitely going to be going lives on Saturdays. Hang on. I got to see. Get my old man glasses out. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and click that link, buy me a coffee, and go ahead and buy me a coffee and support the channel. Grow. All right, hang on. If you sent the text, I'm going to call. Simple as that.
Telephone number 9548.
Hang on. Call. Make it a conversation. I appreciate the text, but there's, if you could, 708, that's why I put the number up, dudes. 708-982-0974. Let's have a conversation about martial arts, because it's Saturday, and sometimes talking for a long time isn't my thing. Did I miss any comments? Sticky hands. Tansao versus Fuxao. That was the beginning of it. Somebody asked me to do, what do you think about VLMA? I have no thoughts at this time. Yeah, you're live. What's going on?
Hello?
Hey, yeah, you're live. A, you got to lower the background, and B, tell us, I started to read your comment, but I'd rather have you talk about it instead.
How you doing, Sifu? Izzo, this is on martial patterns.
Yeah, man.
I'm mainly asking, big fan of your work. You're actually the guy that got me into Wing Chun since I was in high school.
Thank you.
So, really big fan. Been watching you for a very, very long time. I wanted your opinion. I actually have two questions. I want to hear your opinion on Sifu Milos Draculic of My VLMA. and it's actually the Sifu I'm currently under, and he has a channel on YouTube. I would also love your thoughts on how to break posture while you're striking in a 50-50 stance. When we're moving, when we're striking, we're primarily in like a back leg dominant stance.
Yeah,
so,
because you come from Lung Ting lineage, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So the main idea behind that was just because that kind of confused me too in the beginning when I was first learning it, because I come from wrestling as well, which is why I really relate to everything. Yep. So it was like the footwork, especially with the invading step, I equated almost like 100%, like the concept is identical to a penetration step from wrestling, breaking posture. However, instead of like going for a double, going for a single, or
I don't mean to interrupt you. So I understand when you're talking about breaking posture, you're talking about your posture or the opponent's?
The opponent, sir.
Okay, so you're trying to break their structure by doing like a blast double. You want to just knock them off their structure.
Yes, sir. Having that footwork. Yes, sir. Using the circle step, like the invading step.
Sure. Okay. Circle step to go in between the legs, and then you wind up breaking their structure. Okay, now I'm clear. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, but primarily that's basically how all the striking like begins. It has to like break posture as you're striking. Otherwise, like I found they're just able, especially when they're like a good boxer, like kickboxer, and they have like good footwork. They're either able to move around, circle around, or just step off and get off.
I said it. I boxed Craig Harris from Chicago Housing Authority. When I would punch, he would be already on my side hitting me with a punch. I'm like, how did you get there so fast? How'd you get
impeccable to their footwork?
Yes, it was incredible, and it made me realize that was the whole concept of facing and not breaking stance. The thing I have, I see here, my VLMA, he's Lung Ting's lineage. This is my generalization when it comes to the Lung Ting lineage. I think, and I did a video on it, I think that the Lung Ting lineage that passed through Keith Kernspet, Grandmaster Keith Kernspet, who just passed away, and guys like Eamon Bostepi, Norbert Mayday, Victor Gutierrez, a bunch of other people. I even believe Klaus Brand is in that. So is Sifu Sergio. I'm going to forget a bunch of people. My Italian Gumba, Fernandez, Sifu Fernandez. I think that lineage on a whole is superior for fighting. And I got a big caveat on it because the biggest problem is you have to stick with them long enough. Correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't there like 25 levels as a student under that lineage?
That was, so long story short, from what I've heard, you are somewhat correct. I have to ask my Sifu just to verify that, but there is like a weird like structure to the EWTO.
And you have to have it because if you don't have a structure, your students don't pay attention. Right. And that's the one thing, like Wing Chun doesn't have a belt system, but you should have a white shirt, gray shirt, black shirt system. You should. So I know the people that I met, they get like 25 levels as a student. Then you have like 17 levels as a teacher, and it shows dedication. And you have to learn things to unlearn them. The rest of us in Wing Chun, we just throw shit at our students as we go on, and some of us have a curriculum, right? The ultimate, what I'm talking about is, like Sean McGuire came from that system, and then he went into like the Gary Lamb system, and he saw the 50-50 footwork, and he saw a lot more energetics and pressure. I think when it comes to the actual striking aspect, the ferocity, I think that lineage has something superior to offer. It's been my personal experience exchanging energy, chi-sawing with people from that lineage, that they cannot handle pressure as well as other lineages. The pressure that the lineage that I've dealt with the best is the Wang Sheng Liang lineage. They have like iron bars for forearms. Their structure is immovable. They've got that 50-50 stance where they understand the weight distribution is rotating on your axis, and your axis moves if you have a 70-30 weight distribution. And it's a shorter time span to develop that skill set. I think the top two are going to be Lung Ting's lineage and Wang Sheng Liang. I think that Lung Ting, Kernspet was an animal. Victor Gutierrez, Norbert Mayday, or Mayday Norbert, whichever it is, Eamon Bostepi, those guys are savages. they bring a killer mindset into Wing Chun. I think they're fantastic. So I don't really need to look at, my VMLA, because if he's from that lineage, he's going to have good stuff to offer. It's just, I don't know what his system of teaching is. And I think it's up to the student to stick through it and ask questions. If he's a good teacher, then he's open to being questioned by his students respectfully, in private, respectfully, and he'll have the answers. We're like, hey, why do we stand 70-30 when it doesn't apply in a fight? And he'll be able to map out, hey, well, listen, for your first few years, you have to understand how to build up that back leg pressure. You have to understand how to do this. And then every artist has to learn how to hold the brush first, has to learn how to mix their paint first. But you're going to paint your canvas when you choose to. You're just not out of class yet, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. No, from everything, majority of the stuff you're saying so far, sir, I do agree with. And some of it I just can't confirm fully because I've only been training in Wing Chun for a little over a year now. But my God, it's like the method of like training that Sifu Milish has shown me. It translates into my wrestling. It translates into my striking. It translates into my entire game plan. That it kind of permeates like my hand fighting now. And your video on jumps out was exactly like the same interpretation I figured out when I started hand fighting after I started learning like chi sao, like proper chi sao. Because the only other lineage I've had experience with was the Moya, but like
I have no experience with them. Yeah,
it was not the complete total opposite of Sifu Milish, and that was the other thing too, because he does have some videos explaining it, but I would love it. Like, I don't. Does your
Sifu have a wrestling background?
Yes, sir. He's trained in Turkish wrestling and Kyokushin karate and full contact kickboxing.
Then that's a guy you want to train with, because especially was he a competitive wrestler, or did he just train in it?
No, he just trained in it. He wasn't the only thing. I don't think he actually competed, but he was training since like childhood. They were just training for like self-defense.
Well, if that's the case, I think if I ever had to like wipe the slate clean and like my mind, it was like I forgot all my Wing Chun, I would, but I'm like, damn, I have wrestling. What do I do? I would go into that lineage. That's what I would choose, because there's so much more of a fighting spirit, I think, in that lineage. I think that when it comes down to Wang Sheng Liang, you got David Peterson. You've got Philip Bayer. Those are the two big ones that represent Wang Sheng Liang. But the fighting is gone, right? Gary Lam's a fighter. One of Gary Lamb's top students was Sifu Evangelos in Greece. That guy,
I've heard it.
That guy is a killer. One of my best friends, who I went to the police academy with as a cop, he trained under Evangelos, and he's like, this man is a killer. He's a killer. And, he and I trained under Danny Halligan together. So it's like, it's lost in a way, right? We heard the stories of, who just passed away? Jin Young's former teacher passed away a couple years ago. It was Bruce Lee's friend and classmate, Hawkins Chung. He came from Wang Sheng Liang, and they told him, go take Tai Chi because you're too savage. I think that the more that it became commercialized, that you lost your Wing Chun, it became Chi Sao. That's especially with Ip Ching and Ip Chun schools, Chi Sao. Sam Kwok is a very brutal man to fight, but a lot of Sam Kwok stuff is Chi Sao based, because that's the safest way to wind up having a very fun, entertaining way of class that you still get some combatives in. Chi Sao is Wing Chun's version of grappling. Yeah. So, but if I would agree with that. If I have to go to, if I ever had to start over again, I would go through the Long Ting system, because I think right now especially because it's dominated by people from Europe and not the United States. United States, we're pussies. We're pussies compared to people in Europe, dude. So
the mentality of the Serbians and my people over there is he's Serbian.
Oh, so fuck that. He's a savage.
Yeah, he's an absolute savage. Like, which it was actually the biggest culture shock I experienced from Wing Chun was actually understanding like the mindset and like his approach to when he was like to combat. I was
because
like, oh my God,
because they're immersed in it. I had one student train with me for a couple months 15 years ago, and he was Serbian who trained under traditional Wing Chun, William Chung. His technique was for shit, but his ability and the energy he brought into the class, we're like, dude, you have to tone it down, because he wanted to kill everyone. I loved it, but it wasn't conducive for American class because Americans are all pussies. We don't train like they do. So, yeah, if that's the case, and you've only been training a year, I would 100% strongly suggest you if you're blessed and he's got a wrestling background, he knows that, he's not going to transition. Well, you need to make your Wing Chun work here and your wrestling work there. You will find the way that wrestling lives in Wing Chun space, and your Wing Chun is going to be your foundation for everything. So, yeah, I think you got a great future ahead of you.
Oh, thank you, sir. No, and honestly, I love the channel, love your work, and everything you're saying about, like, it's very, very interesting because of his eclectic background. I'm actually, like, I'm actually on his channel, like, a lot of it. Like, I'm the guy he's usually being, like, I'm usually his uke and stuff like that. So you'll see me try to go for singles, go for arm drags, and just seeing how he's using just either, like, Wing Chun concepts, the movements, or the footwork against it. It's very, very interesting. If you ever get a chance, I love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's I like that lineage. I always have, and like I said, I've done content on that lineage specifically, and I'm a big fan of it. Every person that I've seen come out of it, Klaus Brand, Sifu Sergio, Iman Bostepi, all of them, every one of them is a badass. They are. It's as simple as that.
No, seriously, I would 100% agree with that. I'll check out the Wing Chun lineage, just because that's another lineage I heard that has combative, and that's their primary focus. However, like you were just explaining, like it could vary, and it depends on the person, and it could get, like, watered down in certain areas and stuff like that.
Yeah, and also don't disrespect your teacher by that. You speak to him about that. Yeah, you speak to him about that.
Absolutely. No, just more so, like, in terms of, like, research and, like, just wondering, because, like, I just love the art so much. Like, I really want to see, like, all it has to, because I'm also a big fan of Sifu Ak also.
Oh, Sifu Justin Ak, that's my boy, dude. See, he is.
I love his stand-up. I love his work.
We're the same lineage. We both are under the Steve Lee Swift lineage.
He's got great. I love how you're actually the guy who introduced me to him through your video. So
yeah, that's one of the greatest Wing Chun guys out there right now.
Ooh, man, I gotta make out to Lakeland, Florida then sometime.
Yeah, give him my best. So I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right,
thank you again, sir.
No problem. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me on Saturday. We're doing this every Saturday now. Michael Ashworth, good work. I appreciate that, man. If you guys like the work I'm doing, click on the description and go click that link, buy me a coffee, and support the channel. Your support means a lot. Beeve98, what's your opinion on Hokam Ming lineage? I don't. I'd have to look into it. Because I just don't have an opinion on it. So it is what it is. But guys, if you enjoyed this, I enjoyed hanging out with you. Next Saturday, live 6 p.m. Central. That's 7 Eastern, 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific. We just hang out. We are going to talk about martial arts, and we're going to do that. So, and again, phones are open. You guys can call in and bring me your thoughts. And that's it. If you want to see anything on the channel, go ahead and comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And make sure if you're new, subscribe. And I'll see you guys next